Hello.
What's up, dude?
We about ready to do this shit.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, how are we doing this?
Oh, guess we gotta pick up the story. Oh, I can get it.
Okay.
Also, apologies. My allergies medicine ran out, so I might be a bit snotty.
Hey, it's alright. I just had like a sneezing fit a minute ago.
I was having nosebleeds.
Ah, shit, I had one of those earlier today. I just found like the dumbest game. It's not like... it is kind of poorly made, but like it's kind of fun. So I'm just gonna have that playing in the background.
We could both take turns reading it.
Alright. Okay.
Who's gonna start?
I'll start.
I guess. When we get to after everything, just the fifth paragraph. I'll take over for a bit.
Okay. Okay. I'm very excited for this, by the way. So I never in my wildest nightmares could have ever imagined the horrors that could plague even the most simple of life's enjoyments. The darkness that could invade any world, whether it be real or fictional. Jesus. Okay.
We're the tough already.
A little bit. Trying to get all fancy right off the bat. It all started the day me and my girlfriend... Oh, now you know this story's unbelievable. I have a girlfriend, she's totally real. That's why I wrote this creepypasta. I'm totally not 12. Anyway, we're talking about video games we used to play growing up, and games that we used to enjoy. Over the years of my childhood, I collected several games pertaining to several different consoles. Alright. But we both found the topic of the Nintendo 64 to be the most fun.
The one that using every fucking creepypasta.
Exactly. Because it wouldn't be a creepypasta without the Nintendo 64.
Under 6664.
My favorite Star Fox creepypasta. So that day, we decided to pick up... Pick up one from my uncle's video game store. My uncle works
He works for Nintendo.
Perhaps even pick up one of the greatest N64 titles, Super Mario 64. I wouldn't say that it's the best. It's good. It's
He
solid.
said one of the.
Oh, okay. No, that's
One of these days.
well, just derailed my whatever.
Now when we.
Now when we got there, it took some time and a lot of browsing, but we were able to find the game after about an hour. It's like
Browsing the internet.
It's like a little video game store, right?
Yeah.
So why the hell would it take an hour? What are you doing for an
Well,
hour?
he said when we got there, it took some time. Oh wait, after about an hour. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing in a tiny video game store in an hour? Like,
I think they tried just looking through all the bins. I mean, I will say that.
I go to GameStop, we can go through the entire building in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Whenever I go to like a vinyl, I go to a music store and look at the vinyl records. It always takes a bit, but yeah, never an hour.
Yeah, that's fair. Let me bully people, dang it. Anyway, now when we, now I'm gonna get that shit. Several
As well as
things.
that.
Oh, as well as that, we found an N64. Didn't you already have one? Or, whatever. The very last one that he had in stock, ironically. I don't think that's ironic, I think that's...
Pretty cliche.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of cliches, look the next part.
Where'd I go? Oh. He gave it... he gave it to us for free. Goodbye, have fun. It's totally not haunted.
First time you know when a console's possessed by a spooky ghost is when it's fucking free.
Oh, exactly, every time. He told me that no! He told me that it had been bought and returned nearly 15 times since it came into his possession, and now he was just looking to get rid of it. Kids, can we say cliche? He also told me that, ironically, stop saying ironically. The game was always returning.
It's like the word fire. Why is everything on fire? Everything's ironically on fire. Everything's ironically on fire.
Oh, no. Oh. The game was always returned with it as well. It's like... The word ironic for this person is like Tom with the word hyper-realistic.
Or Leafy with the word ironic. Or, no, literally.
Except it looked hyper-realistic!
It ironically looked literally hyper-realistic.
He had heard something was wrong with one or the other, so you couldn't, like, test play it like every game store does. Alright. And some people even went as far as to tell them that they were evil, made in hell. Things like that. Oh boy.
You know these people are on fucking drugs.
You know you're selling to a crackhead when they tell you the game was made in
It was
hell.
made in hell.
Okay. Okay, seeing how he had only heard the story from 3 out of 15 customers, I brushed it off as some hysterical story told by people who decided they simply didn't want to keep the system. An excuse, if you will. Who needs to make an excuse? Like, here, I need to return this. They're not gonna be like, why? What did you do to it?
Maybe it's like that story of how the Brazilian kid jizzed on his Dreamcast and that's why it broke. I guess maybe it's the same store, so they always have to ask why they're returning the system.
I mean, I think the last time I was asked about anything, in any sort of like retail or money situation was like when I was canceling a gym membership because I didn't go, and it was like $60 a month.
Fuck.
Like, yeah, it was bad. And they're like, so, just wondering why, do you want to cancel your membership? And I felt really weird about it, and I just immediately lied, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm getting a new job, which isn't a lie, it was true. And I was like, and my new job has, free memberships, which was the actual lie. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, they bought it, they didn't care. They didn't care. They're like, yeah, I'm not gonna question that. And why would you? But when I got home, I laid the system by my living room TV. You like my...
Wait, I think you missed something. And did you see the part where he said that he got Mario 64 for $20?
Oh, whoops. Yeah, no, I completely missed that. And gave him $20 for Super Mario 64. Cheap jerk gave me the N64 for free, though.
I find it funny that this guy, $20 is too much for Mario 64. Now, have you seen the price for it? Like, this is an older story,
What I
but it's
think is funny is he has it worded like he just handed it to the guy, like, oh hey, here's $20 for your trouble because you gave me a free system, and you know then he's like complaining about it, or he's like, yeah, but he's an asshole because he gave me the N64 for free. Like, you didn't specifically say that he charged you $20. It doesn't.
I guess you can kind of infer that.
Yeah. So it's like, it sounds like he just gave him, the money. Be like, hey, I know we're family and you're giving me this stuff, but I want to do this out of the kindness of my heart. Cause I'm
Anyways, fuck you.
Anyway, we went back home after being gone for about an hour and a half. It's a long time to be at a store. When I got home, I laid the system by my living room TV and started to rummage through old boxes where I kept all sorts of games, ranging from classic Atari games to the ever-popular Dreamcast. I never had a Dreamcast. I don't think I have any Sega system in my life. I think the only Sega game I played was Sonic, and that was on the GameCube. Social commentary aside, it was actually sort of strange, because in these boxes, I found that I owned every major console except for an N64. Well, until now, anyways. What was that, like? There was a system that, like, really bombed right out the gate, wasn't there? I'm trying to remember what it was.
It was the Wii U.
Yes! I've wanted to get a Wii U because people said it was awful.
It was not that bad. I have one. It's not very impressive.
That's fair. That's fair. I still kind of want to get one. Which sounds like the dumbest thing. I'm gonna get it because people tell me not to. Where'd I go? I keep pulling away from social commentary. You might take
I
over.
pulled out my box with all the Nintendo 64 games.
Okay. Am I blind? Oh, there it is. I pulled out my box with all the N64 games and began to dig through it. I found games like Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and its sequel, Majora's Mask, and 2 Castlevania titles for the system itself, Castlevania 64 and Legacy of Darkness. And
Very random titles.
Very random titles. I like how they're bringing up all these things, and they're like, but specifically, I found Zelda and Castlevania. Clearly, we have a favorite.
No. Oh yeah, I'll take over in a bit. Next paragraph. When it says after.
Yeah. After everything was set up, my girlfriend...
No, that was when I was gonna take it.
Alright.
Then it was time to hook up. After everything was set up, my girlfriend decided that she wanted to put in Super Mario 64 first. And after some effort, because putting in a cartridge into a game system takes a lot of effort, the game is ready to go. It's a me, Mario! It called out in its upbeat pitch. My girlfriend decided to mess with Mario's face a bit, before finally clicking start on her purple controller, and the screen transitioned to the file select screen. There were some files already on the game. In fact, all 4 slots. In fact, all 4 slots were filled, each having just started the game because there were no stars on any file because the kid who owned it sucked. So we started deleting them. After we deleted file 1, however, the game froze. No, I need to specify, and there's a deafening screech coming from our TV speakers. and it sounded almost as if someone was screaming from the game itself. Because, volumes cut. It sounded like someone was screaming from the game itself. Because that's what it's coming from. It sounded like it was coming from the game itself. What did it come from? Did your girlfriend scream? So I do know. My girlfriend turned off the system after about 5 seconds of the stopwatch. After a moment or so, she flipped it back on, and we went back to the file select. Oh, I see something. I see something coming up on the file select screen. Strangely enough, the file that we had deleted on file 1 was back, and this time it had 66 stars, even though previously it had none. So, once more she deleted it, and again it made a loud screeching sound. This time, I would swear to God that it was louder before, to the point where we both fell back while covering our ears and eyes. As it was close,
have 666 stars.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was supposed to be referencing too. As it was closer to the plug than the system itself, as I was closer to the plug than the system itself, I jerked it out of the wall. Man, this man pulls out the Ethernet whenever he loses at an online game.
Oh my God, he totally does. Or like, I can totally see him as like the kid back in the 90s who plays Pokemon like with his buddies, but he's not very good. So when he does battles, he just rips out the link cable. He's gonna lose. Like the second he knows he's screwed, he's like, ah!
It's that person who always goes to the home screen and closes Smash Ultimate. This time, before we bothered trying, I took the game out of the system and took it into the kitchen. It turned out that it was really dusty, which explained, at least to me, why the game's reacting the way it was. Although it was still weird. I don't know, every time I have a dusty game, it doesn't make a fucking screeching noise when I select a file, and it doesn't return another file. But okay.
I don't think I've ever had a game screech on me, except for, like, when you're, like, seriously messing with it, or if, like, you tear the, like, in like, early Pokemon games, I know I just brought that up, but, like, Gen 1 and 2, if you yank the game card out, that's the only time it'll screech.
GBA, it actually always, the GBA would always screech when you pull out the cartridge.
Oh, did the GBA do that too?
Yeah, for like every game, too.
Oh, man.
After cleaning it... Yeah, it's a pretty terrible sound, too. After cleaning it with a Q-tip, I took it back into the living room. I handed it to her, she plugged the console back into the brick wall, and we were ready to go. By now it was getting dark out. There was no light in the room, and we couldn't plug in our lamp because the system and TV took up the outlet. So we were forced to play in the dark. For me, something didn't feel right, because for some reason, I was filled with a sense of nervousness that I could not quite explain. I shook it off because I'm an idiot and turned on the system. We were back on the file select screen. Each file that was there previously was gone, oddly enough, which to me confirmed my suspicion that it was just a dirty game messing. No, how does that confirm anything? That's not how dirty games work.
My game got some dirt on it, and now it's haunted.
But if anything, if the files were gone after you clean it out, I'm pretty sure that would be an indication that the game's wrong now.
Yeah.
So we started a new game on file 1, and the screen lagged like it were a CD or something. They found the canceled console for Nintendo, but after about a minute, it started up normally. We got the opening scene with Peach inviting Mario to the castle, and the camera, as usual, followed up the pathway to the giant green pipe which Mario leaped out of. She was in control of the game and took Mario directly to the castle. Alright, I think each do 4 paragraphs before we we'll each do 4 paragraphs and then pass it on to the next person. So where is it?
Is it when we were back on file, or when she opened the door?
When she opened the door.
Okay. When she opened the door of the castle, there was a prolonged pause, which made me nervous. Once again, my loud screeching. Sorry, there's a thing going on. There was a loud screeching that ruined our game, previously shot through our ears. It felt like glass was jabbed into our eardrums. That's oddly specific. We were both overwhelmed because of the terrible screams and could not even think to reach the system as a whole. Really? It's so loud! I can't think to unplug it! I was thinking about this, because I heard a parody pasta where they brought this up. They always say, like, I couldn't turn off the console. Why not turn off the TV?
Yeah.
like, it makes sense in, like, the Pokemon ones, where it's, like, a little handheld. Actually, no, it doesn't. Because that's a mechanical switch on the Game Boy. It will always turn off the game.
Or just take out the cartridge.
Yeah, take the cartridge out. Like, what are you gonna do? What, are you worried the haunted game is gonna, like, lose its save?
It comes out of the console as soon as you pull out the cartridge.
Pokemon Blood Red.
Yeah. Just get Fat Friend. Just get the fat friend to sit on the Nintendo 64 and I'll fix everything.
Listen, Fat Friend was done so dirty in that. Saves the day. Doesn't even have a name. He's just Fat Friend.
That'll always be his name. Fat Friend.
I love that and the always infamous line, "I'm a Magikarp, bitch." Like, that is the greatest story I think I've ever heard on the internet.
Yeah, I think it was actually troll pasta. So I mean,
there's no way that wasn't a troll pasta. We'll have to read that one sometime. That's fantastic.
White hand use molest.
Wait.
Fuck you, story.
Let me reapproach this. We're getting off track. Oh.
Mario had somehow found.
Yeah. Mario somehow found his way to Big Blue's haunt, as the mansion that had never appeared this creepy when I used to play at Link over Mario's head ominously. What the hell? I said as I regained myself. Does that make sense? Regained himself?
Yes, because he had been overwhelmed by the terrible screaming.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. My girlfriend was still getting herself together. My girlfriend, who's totally real, was still getting herself together, and it took her a minute to process what's going on, because I'm main character and I'm the best. Woman inferior.
Woman inferior. You know Andrew Tate made this story.
I was able to regain my senses, my
spider sense.
Because I'm an alpha male, and my girlfriend is just, damsel in distress, as usual.
And he disguised the dude in the back of the class of his fedora.
Oh my god. I kind of want to hear him use the term "milady" now.
I'll try to add that next time then.
Yes. I took the controller and took a good look at the mansion itself.
And the controller.
Oh, and what?
He took a good look at the controller too.
It was nothing like it was supposed to be. It had the castle-like features, actually, and was covered totally in blood and rust. Totally. Like totally, bro. Shocker, bro. Anyway, this guy had black and red colors about it. Colors spelled wrong. Complemented by the black clouds that seemed to pass by in an instant. I noticed that a new tower was now coming out of the mansion. Oh, good for that tower. And upon getting a good look at it. Sorry, that derailed. Oh. The whole screen faded to white, like it does in the entrance room when you look up at the skylight and go to the world to obtain the wing cap in. You mean the one where you hear a voice that says Mario and everybody in the world makes the joke about him talking to God? Or at least I do. Like when I've played through it and they're like, you hear a voice above you saying Mario. To which my response was, God? When Mario reappeared, he had somehow made it on top of the tower, on a platform that went all the way around. The sky had a gloomy look to it as each cloud passed over the tower, as dark as the night sky. And lightning began to rule the sky and illuminate the clouds in its thunderous wake. The sky had thunder thighs.
Thunder cunt.
I tried for the first time to move Mario forward, but a bolt of lighting. Sorry. This is why I make cuts in my recording. Stopped any movement that I was willing to make at that moment. I'm not going to be editing this at all, by the way. This is going to be fun.
Good.
It doesn't deserve to be edited. Where'd I go? Oh. I tried for the first time to move Mario forward. Bolt of lightning. I dropped my controller, Butterfingers. My heart began to race. I didn't know what to expect. I could see the look in my girlfriend's eyes, my totally real girlfriend's eyes.
She had a strong sense.
Strong sense of being real. A paranoia had overcome her. Because I constantly noticed her looking back behind us in the shadows. My girlfriend's paranoid because she is a woman. I'm Andrew Tate. With hesitation, I took the controller in hand and moved Mario forward about a foot or so before something fell on top of the screen and the camera zoomed in on it. Okay. It was a depiction of Mario with a noose around his neck. Which, this is a creepypasta, so are you really surprised?
Oh, I mean, there's an even more cliche part coming up,
Oh, I'm excited.
in this paragraph.
God, every time I look away for a second.
We both yelled out.
Oh, I see. And I lost it again. Damn it. Give me a second, give me a second.
It's okay, the next paragraph's mine anyways.
Oh, there it is. We both yelled out and I dropped the controller on the floor. I moved back as quickly as possible. Mario's clothes were ripped all over, exposing several parts of his body. Do we have to put an age rating on this?
Maybe. From my memory, the story is actually pretty graphic.
Ah, lovely. It's a creepypasta, it's going to be. Underneath the clothes, we could make out stab wounds, you know, just hiding underneath the clothes. From either a knife or a dagger, which is technically the same thing. Someone's gonna get mad at me about that. No, it's not. With more than likely caused the blood splatter all over his skin and remaining clothing. Yeah, knives tend to cause blood to happen when you put them on a person. But the most grotesque part of the image were his eyelids and mouth sewn shut.
Yeah, that.
You spelled sewn wrong. You spelled sewn like you're farming, like sowing seeds. It's sewn with an E, not sewn with an O.
That's the first grammar error in the story. I'm writing, there's not enough.
With blood trickling down his cheeks and chin. I was appalled at the gruesome sight, I'm sure you were. My heart was racing, I'm sure it was. And I would swear to this day, you watch your mouth, that the moment the dead Mario fell off the screen, I heard something run into my bedroom. Oh no, the rats are out. All the hung figures. If he's hanging by his neck, the term is hanged. I had an argument back in like 12th grade about that. So he's like, it's not hanged, it's hung. I had a whole, I caused a huge thing back then. It was awful. Were Mario all the exact same with eyelids and mouth sewn, spelled wrong again, and stab wounds all over their bodies. I worked up all the courage I could muster. I again unplugged the Nintendo 64, which turned off, but not in that instant. What? Before the TV screen went black, the hung Mario's face underneath his sewn, spelled wrong lips was smirking at me.
You can tell this guy doesn't know how to spell it.
It's bothering me. It's really bothering me. Like, I'm genuinely frustrated. They're like, oh, sewn, but I'm gonna spell it wrong. Please, don't. Okay. I didn't want to get up, not even to turn on the lights. I wanted to remain in that exact spot sitting down, because everything was peaceful.
Oh no, that's my paragraph.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't want to get up, not even to turn on the lights. Remember, this room is very dark, so we couldn't do that. I wanted to remain in that exact spot, sitting down, because at least there I felt somewhat safe, even though that's when the spooky ghost could come out of the console and kill me. But for my girlfriend's sake, plugged in the... Wait. Oh, wait, yeah, he can plug in the lamp. No. Wait, so you didn't want to get... Oh, wait, okay, but for my girlfriend's sake, okay, now that makes sense. My girlfriend's sake, I plugged in the lamp and lit the room up. Everything was peaceful, perhaps a calm after the storm. I took a deep breath and sat back down. I couldn't get that image out of my head, that smirk. I felt powerless as to what my mind wanted to remain on. I sat on the floor next to my girlfriend and hugged her, picked her up, and took her to bed. Okay. Who in the hell would make a game like that? It had to be the game. It had to be hacked. It's the only thing that made any sense to me. What I saw in the game I would define as evil in its sickest form. That's right, not serial killers, not pedophiles, the spooky game. Without a word between us as we...
Gary!
Without a word between us, we laid in bed for what felt like hours before one of us finally broke the silence. Okay?
Oh,
She
good,
told
we broke the silence.
She told me that she wanted to get rid of that game as soon as possible. As it was already late, I decided that it would be best to wait until tomorrow because I was sure that my uncle's store was closed, and GameStop doesn't take games that old. So we stayed in bed and agreed that we would not play that game again. But I couldn't get it out of my head. I wanted to know why, or how this was done. My curiosity got the better of me in the end, and after she had fallen asleep, I quietly got out of bed, went back to the living room, plugged in the N64, and didn't turn it on. Didn't have to. The game started itself. Not only that, picked up exactly where it left off. I was astounded by this because I'd never seen the Nintendo 64 do anything like that. Right then and there, I knew there was more to this than I knew, and I had to know what. The ghost powered the console. I was fascinated. Drawn in, perhaps. I got a good look.
By the spooky ghost.
I got a good look around the watchtower as Jimi Hendrix is all along the watchtower played. Despite being disgusted, I was morbidly fascinated by the entire scene. I'm actually now imagining all along the watchtower playing as he's playing the game. The paranoia convey was intriguing. After a few minutes of looking around, I pressed the pause button, and again the screen faded. This time to black. Wait, why'd you even pause, though? Took me all the way back to the file select screen, and I found myself with more questions than answers. All the files were back again. I thought I said all the files were black again. File 1 had 66 stars. Of course. Files 2, 3, and 4 had none. I tried to remember back to where we picked the file. It was file 1. I was certain that they were not there before. I tried loading file 4 first, and in response, the game showed me a picture of Mario dead in a pool of his own blood with his eyeballs and entrails hanging out. After a shudder from seeing the poorly made Nintendo 64 model, it allowed me to hit B and go back. I tried loading file 3, and again, I got another appalling picture. It was Mario, once again, staring directly into the screen with bloodshot eyes that looked so close to real, I really thought they were. There we go.
Mario
His mouth was gaping open, and his tongue missing. Well, it was missing from his mouth at least. I examined further and realized that Mario's tongue was wrapped around his throat and that he was being strangled with it, because apparently Mario's tongue is like a fucking lizard. I heard a chuckle of sorts, not from the game, but it sounded like it was directly behind me. I ignored it against my better judgment. That's me, by the way. Behind you.
Okay. I tried to start up file 2 now, and a video began to play. Mario is strapped down on the table. Uh-oh. And it's a crafted version of the castle's entrance hall. The stones were all black, blood oozing from the cracks between each of them because of course it was blood. Curtains that hung from the ceiling, Sonic.exe, were tattered and falling apart. They appeared to be worn with the years. They were torn up. What do you think? The background, Peach and Toadstool. Peach is Princess Toadstool. What? We're trapped on...
Do you mean Toad?
I think so.
Yeah, oh yeah, because the next line.
Princess Toadstool and Princess Peach? Totally not the same individual, I swear!
I think I know why he said Toadstool. This next line.
Had the mushroom on his head torn off. Okay. So it was...
Apparently he thinks Toadstool is Toad.
Which one?
I guess the main one.
Yeah, that's fair. I can make out his skull showing through a still fresh wound. He was obviously dead. Stupid.
No, he's still alive.
No, he's definitely alive if his skull is showing! I have a short attention span and also stupid.
That's why you ignored the voice behind you.
Exactly. Peach sent me into a state of awe. Her skin was peeled off and all I could see fully formed was her head, which remained untouched. Jesus Christ, I said silently. No, it's Princess Peach. As the video continued, Mario struggled for freedom as the door upstairs opened and a black mask, because of course it was black, we couldn't afford any other color. Its footsteps solemnly echoed through the silent hall. I thought it said Silent Hill. Don't ruin a good game. Oh wait, Kojima already did. The curtains on the ceiling moved casually to its passing as it moved. The steps towards him. Sorry, my eyes did the thing. Mario pulled and pulled, but found no way to escape the situation he had found himself in. I keep looking away for like half a second, and then my eyes just... oh. And in response, he began to beg for his life and pray. That's like the same thing, depending on who you ask. The black mass inched ever closer to the hero, as it seemed though Mario gave up. Puss. The black mass moved around the table and stopped directly in front of Mario. Again, the hero begged, pleaded for his life. He told the black mass he would do anything, only spare him for the crime he committed against it. I saw a tear roll down Mario's cheek as he closed his eyes tightly.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Neck. He gagged. Oh, Jesus.
He took an only heavy breath.
Oh. He took an only heavy breath. I could only see a hand so much as the rope. Or so much as touched the rope. Sorry. Where it even came from, but it was indeed there, with just enough slack so that Mario could breath. Not breathe, breath. There's an extra E in there. It's supposed to be there, sir. Deep lacerations cut through Mario's clothes, and blood by the gallons. He would be dead!
He would already be dead!
If it's gallons of blood, there's no way he'd be alive. Like, if you lose a pint of blood, you're... Like, I mean, they draw about a pint, if you go to get your blood drawn. But, like, if you lose more than that, like, you gotta let yourself, like, get that blood back.
But I also like, and blood by the gallons covered him in a crimson pool. What does that even mean? Him?
He bled too big for he goddamn he. You know.
Blood is pronouns.
His blood covered his pronouns. Oh no! Not his pronouns. Twitter's gonna be upset. I probably should probably be careful on Twitter. Come after me about that.
Don't worry, they'll find something to get mad at you about. Don't worry.
There's no doubt in my mind. Let's see.
D-Flash. Oh wait, screen begged.
They covered him in a crimson pool. He screamed, begged, and pleaded for death, but it was not given to him. Not yet, anyways. The cuts continued until the floor was covered in dark red liquid, exuding. He's using a thesaurus. Can we, is that a bingo space?
Yes. We already have, basically already have hyper-realistic, and, curiosity got the better of me. Oh, and game got for free.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sorry, I just saw exuding and I was like, nobody says that. That is not a word that is said, ever. Finally, the swipes and stabs cease altogether. The swipes? Are we stealing?
Oh, that's a word that can be used for that.
And there was a deep, methodical, stop it, silence that only Mario's gasps of misery filled. Before I could so much as think on what I had just seen, his eyes and mouth were forced... Eyes and mouth were forced shut. That'd be terrifying if you had more than one mouth. Might in a minute. And I could see it for myself, a black needle going through both of his eyelids and mouth simultaneously. I hate this story. I really do. It's awful.
I'm glad I picked it then.
Oh, yes. Oh. Effectively silencing him other than his muffled screams. Even more blood came out. Jesus, how much blood does this guy have? No.
I'm not gonna use some of that blood.
No,
I think I'm running low on it.
no human being has that much blood. I'm sorry. It's not a thing. He's already lost gallons, apparently.
Yeah, it's already lost gallons.
Which, I don't even know how you do this.
Or when the police come to get his body, they're just gonna find a fucking deflated body on the ground.
It's gonna be like this dried out little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died.
It'll be like, it's like in Link: The Faces of Evil when you kill that pig boss, he becomes a balloon, deflates.
Oh my god, yes.
You heard of inflation fetish, now get ready for deflation fetish.
Ugh. That sounds awful.
I don't even know how it works.
I don't want to know, honestly. If I'm being completely honest, I don't think I want to know. I sat in silence with the title screen, with Mario's head came up on the screen. Whoa. The title screen. Why do we not know how to speak English? Was this translated?
Oh, I sat in silence, the title screen. Oh.
Yeah, I sat in silence, the title screen, with Mario's head came up on the screen. I think it's the way they said screen twice is throwing me off. Only it wasn't the same Mario. The background was all black and the Mario was the same Mario from the... You just said it wasn't the same!
Oh, he means it wasn't the same Mario, like, at the usual Mario.
Okay.
This is the Mario from that scene you just watched.
Word continuity is a thing, and I don't think the author realizes that. he still had that. He had that smirk still on.
Alright, I'll take over for these last 3 paragraphs.
I hate the way this guy structures sentences.
After much debate,
Smirk still on? That doesn't. That sounds clunky. It sounds clunky, and I don't like it.
after much debate, I decided to keep going. I went to the file select screen. Yes, yeah. And with all the courage that my heart can muster, I loaded file 1, 66 stars, because I'm a fucking idiot. The game loaded to a demonic laugh and a black sky filled with blood-red clouds. Repeatedly, I could hear a dark, brooding voice saying, "Game over," like Mario would after you lost all your lives.
I like to think it's the Smash Bros. Announcer.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do too. The brawl one. Game over. The Mario that I was controlling was the same Mario that I'd seen killed and on the title select screen. Screams, torments, bodies littered the pattern. Okay, apparently screams, torment, and bodies littered the pathway to the castle. The bodies of Peach, several.
Is he saying
huh?
torment just?
No, he means like, oh, there were screams and torments, but it said screams, torment, bodies littered the pathway to the castle. Okay.
I feel like
So
this
the bodies of Peach, several toadstools, and at the end, a dead Bowser whose head was missing apparently, I think he meant that all their bodies were impaled. Wait, I don't know what this means. Whose head? Okay, first off, I'm pretty sure that you misspelled whose, and second off, whose bodies was impaled on a pike right outside of the bridge. Bodies? Like, Bowser's was? Or all Peach, Toadstool, Peach the Toads, and Bowser?
And whose bodies was impaled. Lovely.
I don't even know what that... I'm not gonna question it. I entered the castle and found myself back at Big Boo's haunt. I didn't question it anymore, just like I'm not questioning the story anymore. I just went with it. The scene had not changed, not even slightly. And ignoring all of the graphic details, I guess, okay then, I entered the mansion, to what I was sure would strike my heart in some way, shape, or form. I could feel something circling and enclosing around me, that's me. I ignored it, I had to. Don't ignore me. I needed to know what this was, or what was going on. Something whispered in my ear, I was sure of it. Unplug the game. I gulped as the screen transitioned to the entrance. I gulped.
You can still turn off the TV.
I gulped.
It's fine.
Just turn off the TV, man. I gulped as the screen transitioned to the entrance hall of Big Boo's haunt. The room with all the doors. The bodies of faceless Marios. Okay. I guess that is kind of the correct spelling. I don't know. Were hung all over the... Yeah, were hung all over the ceiling, illuminated only by torches. I could feel sweat trickling down the back of my neck as that's just me drooling on you, man. As I saw a standalone figure all the way on the upper balcony. I'm trying to tell you, just drooling over you. I'll unplug the game. I moved Mario slowly towards it. I was afraid.
Feeling to have somebody just drooling all over me.
Yeah. I was afraid. I'm more than willing to admit that, and I've never been more afraid in my life. I jumped up the steps, one at a time, moving cautiously and carefully. It was another hung man that was for certain, but who it was, I'll never forget.
I like to think he was like physically jumping up the stairs like he's a toddler.
Yeah.
Like one at a time, he's just boom, 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 boom.
I think cause Mario doing that?
I was thinking
No, Mario was jumping up the stairs.
Oh, I was kind of hoping it was like the main character, like Alias Man, just jumping up like one stair at a time.
Pretty sure oh wait, no, the stairs in Big Boo's Haunt are you do need to jump over those.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Why are you playing the game still? And who's that man behind you who's drooling all over you? Alright, but also I like this line. It was another hung man that was for certain. Again, grammar is not this story's strong suit, but who it was, I'll never forget. As I reached the body, I hesitated but zoomed in on it. I began to tremble, my hands barely holding the controller. The figure was indeed a man hung by a rope. The man had his eyes and mouth shut, just like Mario, and was bleeding profusely from his eye sockets. It was blood by the gallons. That man, in all of his pain, was me. Cliche, bingo. He let out a scream, something haunting and bone-chilling. I'm pretty sure it's not...
Chilling?
I think you mean chilling.
Chilling.
A whale spelled...
Shillings.
A whale, I'm pretty sure it's W-A-I-L, like nothing that I had never... that I had ever heard. The screen began to flicker and turned to static.
Wait,
Tried to turn off the...
have it spelled like the animal?
No, it's W-A-L-E. I'm pretty sure it's spelled W-A-I-L. I might be wrong, but
Yeah, he spelled it like the animal.
well, no, the animal would be spelled W-H-A-L-E.
Oh, no, you're right.
I'm pretty sure it's still... Okay. The screen began to flicker and turn to static. I tried to turn off the system. I tried to unplug it and nothing worked. The TV wouldn't even turn off. I saw my corpse through the static burning as its haunting wail... Again, I'm not sure if that had yet to cease. Mario turned his head 180 degrees and looked at the screen, and with a smirk on his face let out a wail just like I did. My head began to hurt and throb. Fell to the floor, and the last thing that I remember from that night was seeing a black mass, again, that's me, hovering over me. And we had sexy time.
Casually.
So, what did you think of that story?
I think my head began to throb. You know, as one does.
Yeah, I remember this was like in a top 32 scariest gaming creepypastas video, and it was like, it's your average Mario creepypasta with a few things done right. And then I read it and I was like, nothing was done right in here.
This thing was fantastic! No.
Honestly, the video they used to accompany the gameplay was scarier, because it was just some... It wasn't anything related to the creepypasta, it was just a hacked version of Mario 64. Probably send you the video.
Dude,
that was honestly...
the way that I'm doing in the background of this is probably scarier, and it's not even remotely scary. It's just like this very, like, quickly made, I don't even know, it's like a turn-based RPG thing that I found within, like, 10 minutes. Because I was like, the game I wanted to play in the background isn't working, so let me just find the first stupid thing I can get my hands on. So I'm just walking around. It feels like a really crappy ripoff of, like, Final Fantasy. It's like the old Final Fantasy. Or as some people would say, the good Final Fantasy.
Good Final Fantasies.
You know, anything before 7. Hot take? No.
I liked 7 and 9, and I'm currently doing 12, and I'm enjoying that.
I actually haven't played anything past the first game, but I think they all look pretty cool.
Good.
Oh, that's what I should do. I should do like a series, just playing through, Final Fantasy games. I think that'll be fun. I do want to play Final Fantasy 7. Yeah.
It's a good game. If not a little overrated. But yeah, I think that that was pretty terrible. There is apparently a sequel to it based on Ocarina of Time, and I remember its ending was really, really stupid. I don't spoil that in case we want to read that in the future, but
okay, we're gonna have to read that later. We'll have to find it first.
You can find it pretty easily, probably.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It was just called The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Damned.
Really? That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, are you up to read Kirby's Deadland?
I'm actually pretty tired, but I would be very open to reading more in the future.
Hell yeah. No, that's totally cool, man. This has been a lot of fun. I totally think we should make this like a running thing. Because it's hilarious.
So I found the video, so I'll just send that to you.
Oh hell yeah.
I guess that's it for tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're tired, like I'm not gonna push it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can definitely do this. Like, we can make this like a thing.
I'd love that.
Hell yeah. I
I'll
absolutely
talk to
think
you later, man.